Hello. Why do I laugh when I first do that? Okay. Hello, guys, and welcome back to Say More Podcast for episode 3. And very excited for this one, kind of to go through everything. How are you this week?
Hi, Phoebe. Hi, everyone. I'm doing fabulous. Episode number 3. Can you believe?
I know. One thing I want to say is like a massive thank you to everyone that listened because obviously episode 2 is coming out tomorrow, I think, and then episode 1 has already popped off like massively. Like it's so cool, and I wanted to like we were just talking about a second ago, and just we're
I mean,
stumped.
the entire week we like spoke about it. Every day we're just like, you cannot
I,
there. You guys
I'm
have been so
so
amazing. Yeah. How you been?
like
Can't stop smiling.
I know that's what I mean. I feel like it's just been like it's so cool to kind of see it all take off and like what's happened and all that type of thing. Like I literally just said to you a second ago, 55 countries, top 5, the US, whoop whoop, then the UK, Canada, Germany is top 4, like the fourth list, like top listeners, and then Australia is the fifth. How cool is that? I
Good.
know. So like we're reaching all different platforms. I think that's just so cool and it just never ceases to amaze me. So like I firstly wanted to say like huge thank you for that. That's like really like it still like makes me like smile every time.
Yeah, I think he's gonna, make us going. I think the purpose of this is obviously we always say like, oh, this is gonna be for us, but we can't help ourselves to just be like, wow, like this is like crazy.
Yeah.
People can actually like listen to it, and I think we're gonna even see it more now. Episode 2, like it was such a great episode, but like if really people are like, okay, sticking to it and like make it part of their like Monday morning, which is like
Yeah.
finger crossed what is gonna happen, then like job done, And we're gonna keep showing
Yeah.
up in either way. Like it doesn't really matter. We're not that like we're not doing it for views or whatever, but like when it happens, we're just really happy that girls can relate and like all the DMs, you girl, like the comments and stuff. Like we're here looking at it, and it really, really just a little like
I know. It's
a
really
little bit
nice. Like
hard.
it's just nice because it's just it feels like there was one comment I think I sent it to you and you were like, "Oh my God, this is the reason we do it." And it was something I can't remember what it was fully said, but it was like, thank you for allowing me to see like your perspective of bodybuilding because you like it's hard for some people because sometimes they get so stuck into like doing it maybe for others or like realizing that it has to be something that you enjoy the process instead of it being so serious all the time because like it's so important for it to like be looked at like that and like that was just a conversation we were having and it's nice to people to relate.
Exactly. I think at the end of the day, like what we both, me and Phoebe wants is for you girls to believe in yourself because we believe in ourselves. Like we are who we are, and that's your power, and that's really what we want to like transpire into it. So yeah, like just for you girls to see our state of mind, how we're right on some things and like wrongs on the same thing, you know what I'm saying? And like sharing ideas and just seeing us as like human beings, I think it's really important because we are bodybuilders. This is
Yeah.
something that we do. It's, obviously a big part of us, but we carry ourselves as like human being and like a sister and daughter and now podcasters now. So like,
Yes.
so many dimensions to it all. But first and foremost, it's just Lauralie and it's just Phoebe and it is what it is. So
Yeah. And that's what we want. Like that's and I like that because it's nice to be relatable. Like when I listen to other podcasts that are kind of doing this similar setup where it's just very chilled, we're just talking about conversations. It's nice to just feel like, oh my God, yes, I relate to that. And there was another comment as well. Someone was like, when you were saying things, she was like speaking out loud, being like, yes, I agree. Like, yes, like she was on the cardio machine. She texted me, she messaged me on DMs and she was like, I was like literally like saying like, yes, like when you were saying things and stuff like that. And I was like, that's what I want. Like, that's what we want. We want you to feel like this podcast is like, like so relatable because it is it's I think it's things we want to talk about things that everyone goes through, not just kind of like one person things. Like everyone goes through all this type of stuff, so it'll be really cool to kind of like go through that. But no, how's your week been so far anyway?
good, good. No
Good.
complaints. Just like the
Yeah.
routine. I'm kind of getting ready. Next week is going to be another travel week. I'm just going to go to Pittsburgh, say hi, you
Oh
know?
yeah, it's Pittsburgh Pro next week, isn't it?
Yeah, this is gonna be a big show.
Oh,
So
how
yeah.
do you feel kind of looking at that, obviously because you won it last year? So how are you
Mhm.
feeling obviously not doing it this year? Do you feel like you're excited to kind of watch who takes the crown, or like what you feeling?
I'm obviously always excited about any type of show. Like the girls are showing up, that's the exciting part. I never like hold grudges though in a way where like, oh, I'm not doing it, so like who's
No.
gonna, I still have like the title, like it's in my room, and like now, like we spoke about it, and we're gonna talk about it later. Like I'm very active into like my off season, meaning like I'm getting mentally ready to the Olympia, which is like that's my goal. And it's unfortunate that Pittsburgh is not on the road, you
Yeah.
know, to the Olympia this year, but it's for the better. So I'm excited to go and see also the wellness.
Oh my God, the wellness. I love, like, I've seen recently, like, or obviously everyone's doing their road to Pittsburgh and stuff like that, and like road to New York Pro and all that type of thing. And the wellness girls are leveling. I mean, all categories are leveling up, but like, I just love the way the girls are coming in for wellness now. Like, it looks insane, like, incredible.
And I mean, I don't know if there's any listener that are not competitors, but the Pittsburgh Pro and the New York Pro is just as prestigious. So it's like right
Yeah.
there with the Arnold and, right underneath the Olympia, I would
Yeah.
say, you know?
It's such a huge show, and like, and that's on my bucket list, like, of shows, because I've never done either of those shows still. So I'm like, definitely next year, I think 100% I want to try and obviously do those, like, a few more shows, to kind of like tick them off my list and be like, yeah, I've done
Mhm.
Pittsburgh, I've done New York and all that type of thing, because they're such great show. Like, they look like the energy of them looks really good. Like, the audiences are always huge and stuff, it looks like. So it looks like it will be a lot of fun.
Today, you guys were all, me and Phoebe were kind of like, I feel like it just matched with the flow of like the episode right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And just kind of going on, like elaborating on your vision for like the next year, and not next year, but like your vision right now. Like, what's your vision?
Just
Like
future wise.
like
Yeah.
tomorrow, but more like,
Wider perspective. I think it would be really interesting to think about, because I mean, the questions I have for you and stuff, which we'll get into in a second, but I'm excited to like know like what you looked at the future when you were younger versus what it actually is now, and like the differences. So like, the reason we want to speak about this is because I feel like a lot of the things in our lives kind of we didn't really plan for. For example, like, I obviously, for example, like, I live in Dubai, and this was never part of my plan ever. Like, I never imagined like being like, yeah, I'm going to move to Dubai in the middle of a pandemic and love it and stay here for like however long. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's so important to kind of like speak about the future and speak about obviously how we kind of either got here or like what we see kind of moving forwards and stuff like that. So, I mean, my question to you kind of was, did you see yourself going this far, one within bodybuilding, and two with where you are kind of now, living Miami, all that type of thing? Like, did you see this for yourself like when you were like, for example, like 18? Do you know what I mean? Like, I think 18-year-old Lauralie probably had a different perspective of what it actually is now. Do you know what I mean?
100%. And dang, that's gonna be like almost a decade
Yeah.
now, which
Oh
is
my God.
insane.
Yeah. Wow. That is, for me, it's actually 10 years. I'm like, oh my God, I feel old.
Like, yeah, just like that just hit a little bit because, oh my God, at 18 years old, Phoebe, I mean, I was like a year old into like my bodybuilding career. Didn't earn my pro card yet. Or yeah, I earned my pro card already actually. At 18, but I was still, working two jobs like we talked in the past, like working two jobs, going to school. Um, I knew I wanted to pursue bodybuilding, that's for sure, but as a hobby, right? Like on like the sideline, it's something that I just enjoy and like, and that was kind of like taking over soccer a little bit, because I wasn't playing soccer anymore. I was still skiing in the winter, and now like slowly the more like bodybuilding takes over your life, and you can't ski anymore because then you're just
Yeah.
like, literally an injury away of like not being able to bodybuild anymore.
Yeah.
And they're like the real thing. So like the switches, and then switching your friendship, like not going out and be as social anymore. And then when I made that decision of just like pursuing my bodybuilder career, like I had no clue. Like
Yeah.
I really didn't have a clue on like how am I even gonna survive. Like thankfully so like in Canada back in the days, like I had my apartment, it was like $700 a month.
Oh,
For my
remember the rent back 10 years ago? Oh, the rent was so nice 10 years ago
it was
versus
very
what it is now.
yeah, and like the groceries were like $100. It was like
Yeah.
it was pretty great. And then, if I had like a sponsor like covering the flights when I travel, and then somewhat of like a base salary that would at least cover like let's say my expensive for the apartment, like electricity and like water and all this stuff, then I don't mind living very minimal,
Yeah.
very minimal. I'm still like that today, though.
I
That's
was
what I
gonna
realized,
say, yeah,
right? I'm still like that today. Like I don't really chase any like any bling bling. I don't live through it. Like I have my little like Jeep Compass. Like I wanted a bigger car, but like why would I have a bigger car if like that's really like all I need? And like for me, that's luxury right there. Like I could have had like I love driving cars, but I have literally like point A to point B, which is like 12 minutes away from my house, which is like house gym, house gym. I'm like I'm literally just getting a car because I'm tired of paying Uber and like waiting for Ubers. And like sometimes I have my dog in my car, and like when I used to use Uber, um sometimes I couldn't bring my dog in the car. So that's
yeah,
basically what it is. But fast forward to, me getting stuck in the US for like after the pandemic, staying in California, then moving to Vegas for a month and like making like I thought when I made the move to Vegas, like that was it. I was like,
yeah,
this, this was like the first time I had like my name on a house. Like I had like a car. Everything was like it was not me moving into someone's life. It was really me creating like something, um and having my own stuff
yeah,
like in the US, like in a country that's not mine. So I was
yeah,
like that felt like I actually made it at that point in my
yeah,
life. I was like, I have a house, I have a car, like I'm not depending on anybody. Like this is mine basically. And
yeah,
I um and then fast forward to whatever happened because life happens.
yeah.
And again, there's things that you can't control in life, and like I'm laughing
No,
about it, but it's not really funny. But
no,
like just trying to keep that whole podcast in the light and like easy and positive vibes, like girls, that there's things that you can't control, and
yeah,
it's for you to accept either or. It's always a choice. Like it's always a choice. Either you accept the fact that the person that you're with is not, matching with your values, or else like you take the leap on just knowing that your values are still there if you follow the track. You know what I'm saying? Like you
yeah,
can always either work it out or feel that there's something you cannot pass
yeah. And
beyond.
I think that's really important as well. Like the fact that you just said, obviously, like life isn't always like controllable. Obviously, like what you were kind of going through back then couldn't control any of that stuff. Like, do you know what I mean? Like life changes and you're like, right, what can I do now to kind of overcome it, to be better from it? Like, do you know what I mean? And that's where you kind of needed to go. And obviously now you're kind of like pushing forwards to being better every day and all that type of thing. And it's being better. So like it's weird though to like look at, because you're like, I'd never thought I'd go through all this shit that I've gone through
because
now.
because you're like, when you like move with, sorry I cut you off.
That's
um
right.
when you move with like good intention, and I'm coming from a background like my parents like they're celebrating like 44 years together, like
Yeah.
that's all I know. I don't
Yeah.
know cheating, I don't know dishonesty, I don't know
Yeah.
lies. Like I know my brothers are two great men, they've been with their girlfriend for like forever.
Yeah.
So like I move like that, knowing that everybody has the same heart. Like everybody have the same heart, everybody have the same intention, they want to do good. Like when you're in a relationship, you give yourself 100%, blah blah. And then shit hit the fan, and then you realize that it's just a lesson. It's just a
Yeah.
lesson, and there's always, you go through phases. When that hits you, you go through the victimization of things. But when you're a victim of your life, girl, oh my God, you're going to be a victim for everything. You're going to be a victim. Like, why does it rain on today? Because you had something important to do, because
Yeah.
it's Earth. Like, it's Earth, and that's how Earth is like working. This is how
Yeah.
people work. Like, you try not to like put everything on you, and just understanding that what you can control is yourself, is like your reaction to things. And I removed myself from that relationship. Even though I had a house, I was like, this is material. Like this is
Yeah.
material. Like my parents were like, but it's your house, it's your dresser. It's like I really like I can
I
purchase all
don't
of this.
care.
I don't care, because like now it's up here. It's my heart. It's my soul. Like I gotta go. And
Yeah.
then moved to Miami. Kind of like impulsive in the way where like I needed to start my life. Like I needed a place. You need to be grounded. Like I was 4 weeks
Yeah.
from the show. Like I needed to be like grounded somewhere, and like my heart was, somewhere else, which was in Miami.
Yeah.
And um to say it how it is. Basically, now I'm here, and it's been already 2 years that I'm here, and like I found home here. Like literally,
Yeah.
I found it makes sense for like it makes sense in a way where like my family can travel. I feel really good. I have my little car, my little routine. I
Yeah.
think when you have a place where you have a routine and like you start having your point of reference. I kind of have that sometimes when I go to California. I was like, oh, this is where I used to like take my coffee. That was my Starbucks. That was my Starbucks.
Yeah, you look back and you're like, oh, this is what I used to do like back in the day. Like I remember going back to like my old place of where I used to go to college. When I went, I think I did that last time I was in the UK, and I went back and I was like, oh my God, flashback, like, or like re-remembering memories. Like I used to go to that bar every Thursday because after college and like go out with my friends, and like it was like, oh my God, this is so like not weird, but it's cool to
Okay.
look. But yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
flashback, and it's nice to remember those days. But it's funny because I think I've heard this. I don't know where I heard this quote from, but it's like it's weird to look back on the good old days, but you don't look at them at the time as like good old days, if that makes sense. Like what, yeah, like what like memory do you have? Like, do you feel like you look back on like, and you didn't realize it was like, oh, that's the good old days, and now it's like, oh, that was the good old days. You know what I mean? Like, where in life did you see, like, do you look back on and that's like, oh, that time?
Oh my God. That's such a like tricky
I
question,
know,
Phoebe, because oh my God, I feel like I've grown up so fast.
I
So fast.
know,
Like, girl, I
I
would have
know.
stayed at my parents' house like for a long time. I was so, oh my God, I like, why did I leave like at freaking 16 years old? Because I
I
wasn't,
know.
I wasn't able to like speak to my parents like, hey, I really want to do this. It makes me happy. I was just like, let me just like run away.
Yeah,
And like, sorry, and I was always like very like kind of like independent and stuff. And like my parents like my mom wanted to like do my hair. And I, at 3 years old, I was like, don't touch my hair. Like, I wanted to like do everything by
no,
myself. Like, starting working at like 11 years old, I was like, I cannot wait to work. I cannot wait to drink coffee. I was like that weird like
that's so
kid,
interesting
and
though.
I just wanted to grow up. And like my parents were like so like my brothers, they had breakfast every single day with like their my like my dad was like pulling their clothes out for them, like, and I was like the complete opposite. And then I
But
was
I
like, I went
feel
to
like that's like that now, kind of like every like I like know like Max's like family has a lot of like younger kids in his family and stuff, and they're like, I can't wait to like get Facebook at like 16, and like they're like, oh, I can't wait to do this like at this age, and I'm like, be a kid, like obviously we're born
yes.
in the generation now where it's like iPhones, iPad kids, like do you know what I mean? Like so it's like it's hard to get those to get them sometimes to understand like those like just have fun going out playing at the park. Do you know what I mean? Like go out and have fun like whilst you're young. They're like, no, I want to be 16. Like I want to be 18. I want to be able to do things by myself. I think everyone has that like urge to want to grow up like as quickly as they can. I do feel like that. But like then you look back and you're like, why did I want to like grow up so much? Like not saying that being grown up isn't great because obviously it's great, but it has
Yeah, it's a
fucking
perk.
downfalls at the same
Yeah.
time. Yeah,
Very
it
perk
has
to
its
it,
perks,
but
but it
I'm
has
like,
its fucking downs. Like it has its a lot of downs a lot of the time. But I feel like it's so hard to like express that to kids now sometimes. Like you're just like, just want to be a kid.
I mean,
Like,
I feel because it comes from like there's so much comparisons now.
yeah,
It's like they don't want to be a kid because like they make it seem like adult life is like the perfect thing. Like they're
yeah.
like in Bali and like how these things for free. They can drive an airplane. They do all those crazy stuff. When in reality, like the best time as a kid is like when you're by yourself, like looking for little snake in the grass.
Oh
Like
my God.
seriously,
Going to the beach and looking for stones, making sandcastles.
that's it.
Like those good old days. You know what I mean? Like I think I mean, I would say I definitely took it for advantage, like more than I would like to in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like I was out a lot when I was like a teenager. I think that's like normal for a lot of people. I think
Mhm.
for me it hits home more because I mean, if no one really knows this already, but like my mum passed away at like when I was like 20. So like when I look back on my teenage years, I'm like, why was I out so much? Do you know what I mean? Like obviously not to make it like sad or whatnot, but it makes you
No,
think about more things. Do you know what I mean? Like it makes you look back and be like, future is always going to be the future. Like you can make of the future what you want it to, but you can't change the past. So like appreciate the past for what it is, and like in the moment, like that's why we always talk about being present and stuff like that.
100%.
When we're here, like when we're doing bodybuilding, try and be more present. Obviously, we have to sacrifice. We know we have to, but also don't like sacrifice everything. You know, like you have
Or
to
like not
sacrifice
make
things.
Yeah, or like not making an excuse to like sacrifice,
Yeah.
you
Like, oh, I
know?
can't see you today because I have to sacrifice. I got to do my gym, like, got to do my training.
Because
Obviously, they got to do
sacrifice.
my training.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Obviously,
sacrifice. Like
yeah,
big
sacrifice
like
for the gym. Bodybuilding
like
is life. You're like,
biggest flex. It's like no, your biggest
yeah,
flex is actually like being present with like your loved one and like trying to like cope with the fact that like you chose to do that sport, and
yeah,
like that's your biggest flex right there. It's like today I'm
yeah,
able to be present because I know sometimes it can be so difficult. So like I don't take me wrong. Like sometimes it really is tiring to spend
yeah.
that 2 hours more with like your mom or do like that errand or like, but damn.
But they appreciate that. Like
Yes.
when
I mean, at
my
the end of the day, that's what fulfill your souls too.
like when I go back to see my dad, like in the UK, like we barely like we obviously go out the house, but like his fun thing that he likes to do is just go for a walk. That's all he wants. Well, let's go for a walk, have breakfast and coffee with me in the morning, and then I can do my day. So like that's what I do. Like as long as I'm there, like I'll literally be out at the house all day. But as long as I can go for a walk with him at some point in the day and have coffee and breakfast with him in the morning, he doesn't care what I do. But like that little thing is like a thing. Do you know what I mean? And that's if I was in prep doing that, and like if I was at home, it's like okay, I'm being present, like being there with your parents and family and this like that. I think that's just so important. I think when I was a kid or when you're your younger self, you don't really appreciate that as much. You appreciate your parents, I think, more when you grow up, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, Whereas you moan at them when you're like younger, like, oh, I want to stay up longer. Like, and they're like, no, turn off the TV. And they're like, and you're like, I hate you. I'm like, why
Yeah.
would you complain? They don't want you to watch TV and be like a
Kid.
robot. Or like my thing was like they were always like, your eyes are gonna turn square. Have you ever heard that saying that your eyes are gonna turn square if you watch too much TV?
No, oh my God, this is so funny. Like those little lies that our parents were telling us. Oh, like,
Please,
oh my God.
everyone, comment down below if you're watching this on YouTube. Comment down what are the lies that your parents told you as a kid. Like mine was like your eyes are gonna, or you like your eyes are gonna turn square if you watch too much TV, or if oh, what was it? Something about like your eyes will stay open, like they'll freeze. Oh my god, I can't remember
No,
what
no,
it
no,
was.
no. It's when you would do like a funny face, like this, and
Yes,
the wind
yes.
blows, like they got this.
Oh my god, yes. Oh my god, yes.
Oh my God, I can't wait to be a parent and like come up with all those like
You
little
can
things.
say all of that stuff, say all that bullshit like stuff. Like if you make that face long enough, you're gonna say like that. That was it.
Yes,
That was the
yes.
thing.
And
Oh
like
my
translating it
god.
from French to English was like completely different, but like
Yeah.
that's fun. Yeah.
Oh my god,
Like
that's
we
so
need to think about
funny.
it and like come up with like more on the next
Oh
episode.
my god, yeah, that's
I'm
so
sure
funny.
there's
Yeah, anyone,
so many.
all the lies your parents told you, please comment. Oh,
Or
the
any,
little lies that they told you.
yeah, or
I
if
know.
there's any moms right now that are doing those little white lies, because they
Yeah.
might have like like the evolution of the white lies have probably is probably
Yeah,
different.
they probably changed a little bit because they're like old lies that I think they're quite common, like for our generation, but like what are the new generation ones? But no, I think it's cool. So obviously, yeah, so what I said to you was obviously kind of like, where would you see yourself at like, when you were 18, what did you think 27 looked like? For me, it was like I thought my life was like gonna be completely put together. I was gonna have kids, the mortgage, the car, yeah, like
Yeah,
that's like at 18, that was like that's how I saw like that's where my life was like at 20 like 28 where I am now. In 10 years time I'll have like a mortgage, kids, job, all that sort of thing because I didn't start bodybuilding until I was 21. So for
right.
me, my perspective on all the things I have now was so different. So I was working towards a career, I mean,
Yeah,
still working towards a career, but like working towards it was like a 9 to 5 career. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it was so different to what it is now. And like, it's crazy to look back on like my thoughts now, like back then, because like, I don't want not don't want any of that, but it's not now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not ready for any of that now. Whereas before I was like, oh my God, I'm so ready for kids at 28, the house,
And,
the
and and that was like
husband.
and that was like without you having like anything like tangible, meaning like you didn't have a career yet. You were with Max already?
No. So I started dating Max when I was 20, So I think I was just turned, no, I was turning 20. And then obviously,
Okay.
yeah, I was with him when I was 21. So for me, because Max is my first like proper boyfriend. And we've stayed
Yeah.
together obviously for like almost it'll be 8 years this year, which is
Wow.
crazy. I know. But so for me, I was like, I'm gonna go, when I was 18, I was kind of like, oh, I want like husband. I want to like, I wasn't obviously going out and being like, I'm going to find a husband like straight away. Like, obviously you date and all that type of thing. But like, for
But
me, that was like, that's always your end goal. Like, right, I want to find
yeah,
my
the vision,
person.
you're not
Yeah.
playing around. You
No,
were not
I want to
playing.
find my person. I don't want to kind of like do things for fun or whatever. Like, I want to go out and find my person and see who I can spend the rest of my life with, all that type of thing. But like, when I was obviously when I was 18, obviously I was at college. I had like I was working at Topshop, 9 to 5, and I was like a full time there, so I was working like there a lot. Well, actually, no, I wasn't full time. So like, I wasn't full time. I was part time because I was still at college. But that was what I was mainly like doing, and I was like, do I want to do fashion? It was obviously at the time I was only working for money. It wasn't like a job. Like I'm invested
Yeah.
in becoming fashion something. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I'm just working for money at this point. But I still had no clue what I wanted to kind of do. I was at college for like catering, so like food things, and I wanted to become a chef, which is crazy now because I'm like, no way would I be a chef now because of the hours, and two, like I used to love the rush though. I used to love the rush of like we used to do like dinner service, and I was on like the main meals, and I loved it. Like I loved like doing all that stuff, but obviously like I think it was at the time I enjoyed it, and then I started to kind of like be like, this isn't what I want to do. Like this isn't what I want to like go forwards. And then I kind of got into the gym, and then that's where I kind of was like, right, I want to become a PT. I want to get my own business. And that's where my career started to take off, probably when I was around like 20, like where I wanted to actually figuring out what I wanted to do. Nowadays you see people that are like 17, they're like, yeah, I want this. They already know like what they want to do. Like it's crazy. Like,
Yeah, again, I think it's because they get like they're able to compare, like
yeah, they see
I
other lives on the internet.
because we had our parents and then like that's it, like the magazines and stuff, and
Yeah.
you had it, you know, it's crazy that you had all that figured out before your mom passed away because like she
Yeah.
basically like her homeworks like were done, like in a way where
Yeah.
like I gave my daughter like a vision because it's so
Yeah.
important. I think as kids, like I was a lost puppy when I left my house. I had no clue. I had no
Yeah.
clue what was going on. I knew what I knew. I come out from like a good family and stuff, but I wanted like the answer to kids, like up to like last year, Phoebe. I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know, like Aldo
Yeah.
gave
Like
me like Aldo gave me like the want to have kids. That's why I asked you if like you were with Max or something. Like how old was
yeah.
mom when she had you? You're
I mean, my mom kind of inspires me to kind of like look at kids, like, because my mom had like my mom and dad like had a full life. Like they went and like did a bit of traveling together. Like she was really into art. Like she had a full like life, and I think she had me at like 36, 37. So like for me, I
really?
feel like, yeah, I feel like for me, I'm like not like, oh my God, I need to have. Well, I think now, so like the way that I see things now versus what I am at like 18, I think 18, I was like, oh my God, I want to have like the career, the house, the thing by 28. And like, obviously, I have like a career and I'm happy with my life, but like, obviously, I don't have a mortgage. I don't have like kids or like the want to have kids anytime soon. So I want kids, 100% I want kids, but like, not now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to try and like do my thing. Like, I want to live my career, I want to live my life, and then obviously have kids whenever. I say whenever I'm ready, but everyone always says like you never really know when you're ready to have kids. Like, which
Would you
you
have
have
kids?
signs, but like not fully. No,
Would you have kids in Dubai?
I don't know. Like, because I feel like I'm such a family person. I would hate the fact that like I would have kids and like Max's parents weren't there, or like my dad wasn't there to like at least like look after them, or like we would go around and like hang. Do you know what I mean? Like see them grow up. I think that would be really sad. I wouldn't want that. So I feel
Yeah.
like we probably would. I mean, I in my head I would be like, I'd probably move back. Do you know what I mean? Like I would move back to the UK and like have kids there and like grow. I say grow up there, but like because I love the UK like and what it kind of like has. I love Dubai as well, but I feel like it's not a kid, it is and isn't. Like, because I don't have kids, I don't really know like that the side of Dubai to have kids, if that makes sense. But
Yeah.
like,
I'm
so I'd
curious.
need to kind of look into it more. But I love the UK, and I would love for like, it's such a like, that's my family. UK is my family, so I'm like, I would want to have them there. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like, yeah, life perspectives when I was 18 to what they are now so different, and I like that how it's evolved in a way, like because now I'm a lot more like open-minded, and I don't plan as much when things kind of happen. I think I'm more open to opportunity versus before, I think I was like, I have this planned and this is what's going to happen. Like in my head, I was so like prominent, like this is what, right, this is what we're going to do. This is what I can see my life being. Like, just, I didn't even, the thing is, I didn't even know where I was going to live. Like, I was like, oh yeah, I'll live in the UK, like, and have kids in the UK. Where in the UK? I don't know. I didn't know what my career was, like what career I'm going to have. I don't know. I'm just going to have a career at some point. Do you know what I mean? Like nothing was, it was planned, but not, if that makes sense.
It's like plan and a half. Like it's like half plan. It's like an open plan. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it's open to changes, but it's pretty the base and the counter is very solid. And you
Yeah.
know what it is, babe? It's like at the end of the day, that's only you being safe. Like
Yeah.
feeling safe into
It
that
was
middle,
very safe. Like
you
the
know?
way that it's looked at, like now, obviously, it's like, I would never, like, Max obviously came into my life. I didn't, the thing is, Max wasn't ever, I guess, planned. He literally fell into my life. Do you know what I mean? It's the same with Aldo. He fell into your life. Like, it didn't happen. Like, we didn't know each
Yeah.
other for years and years and years. And like, we knew each other, friends of friends. And they were like, oh, you know, like, you'd be really good together. Literally met him on the first day I started working. And then he slid into my DMs and then we
Wait,
didn't stop
where?
talking.
Hold on,
So
hold on, hold
you're like, I want to know everything. I mean, I started working at a gym that was local to me at the time. It was local to me at the time when I was 20. Um, and then he trained there and kind of works there, but kind of like, I think he trained and like did a bit of PT there or something like that. And that was my first day. And he was like, oh, who are you? Like, he didn't know who I was because obviously it was my first day. He was like, I've never seen you here before. And I was like, yeah, like started working here, this, that, the other. We started chatting. We chatted pretty much like the entire evening, most of the evening. And then like added me on Facebook, you know, the whole thing, added me on Facebook, slid into DMs. And then and
on.
then the rest was like history. Yeah, Facebook. I feel like the newer generation is not a Facebook. It's like Instagram now or like
Right.
Snapchat, which I don't even have
Ew.
Snapchat. I'm like, I don't want to be involved in another app. I can do. I don't even do Facebook anymore. I do Instagram and I do YouTube, and then I feel like the rest is like, don't talk to me. Like even TikTok now, I'm like, I can't. My brain can't handle that many apps.
It's a lot. TikTok is like a garbage of like what Instagram doesn't get for me.
I know, yeah. I was gonna say your one the other day where you were eating that whatever that was, that was, and that filter, that was so funny.
Yeah, I know.
That was so funny. But yeah, like what I was saying is in like those things never came, like they were never planned. Obviously, like they weren't like, oh my God, I see my life with this guy. It just happened. And like now I'm like, wow, like this whole vision is kind of like in front of me and I see my entire life with you. Do you know what I mean? Like same with Dubai. I never planned to go to Dubai. And I think my next question for you was kind of like, do you think it is important to make a plan for the future? Like what, I mean, do you feel like it's important to plan the rest of your life in a way? Or do you feel like that kind of
Well,
maybe stops it, if that makes sense?
I think that's a very good question. Phoebe, your questions are really good today. Wow.
Thank you.
I still want to dig into that whole like you and Max meeting together, but we'll go back to that after. So I think again, like having some kind of like guideline is a safe place to be.
Mm,
You just have to figure out like where those guidelines come from. Are they coming out from you? And the thing is, like, we're asked to figure our guidelines or like what we want to do so young.
yeah.
Like, you don't have a clue who you are by 17, 18, even 20. Like
Yeah.
when I was 20 years old, I had no clue who I was. Like I'm beginning, Phoebe, to scratch the surface of like who really I am right now.
Yeah.
Like understanding one that I'm not just a bikini competitor. Like I'm going through all these things, like discovering myself. And I think um like I don't regret anything that happened in my past, but I'm also very happy that I've let those happen, meaning I didn't have a plan because I had to make a decision, you know, like in 2019, I was in university and the program that I loved, enjoyed, but the requirement that was like, it was like over 40 hours a week of requirements to that. And that would put my bodybuilding career to like completely sidelined to unexistent completely because it was humanly non-manageable. Like it was, you know, it was engineering, a engineering program, but in a school where it was like service and for service or product lines, and it was like extra credit, and I wanted to do it fast and all these things. So like I put a lot on my plate, and I took the other route, which was in in reality, it was not even that much of my decision. It was someone else telling me, like, hey, in bodybuilding, window of opportunity is this big. Either you take it
Yeah.
or you don't. That person put that inside my head. I'm like, I'm pretty good at this thing. So I took it. If I had listened to my parents, if I had listened to like, but at this time, what did Lauralie wanted? I don't really know. She just wants security. I'm chasing security, but what is it that's gonna give me my happiness or school, which like my parents are obviously experienced. So like, who do you look up to when those decisions you're so young and you need to make those? It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. And now you have those kids that wants to be like an influencer. I'm like, I
Yeah.
wish that, I wish that's what happened to me. I had to be like either a doctor or influencer. But that's not even like realistic. But I think you let yourself be more of a kid and more present and more letting things happen to you. Um
It's hard though.
Girl, it's like a balance.
Yeah.
It's like a balance. You need to
Yeah.
like you had a kind of like a little like box. It was not completely closed. It was not completely perfect, but
No.
it kind of was there because of your values, I think, because of your principles. And you knew that little about yourself or that much about yourself that you were able to create that for you. And
Yeah.
you've worked towards it. Like for
Yeah.
me right now, like I have a pretty clear idea. Okay, this is the woman that I want to be. Like I want to be like a really good like I found passion into like taking care of my loved one. Like I love cooking, but that cooking like takes a lot of time. So I always said I wanted to be like a career woman. Like I look at my mom, she was like at 5:45 out the door, takes the commute, go back home, do like always in the best suits, like always like in downtown Montreal, like just the vibe. Starbucks like coffee in the morning, just like walks with her heels all day. And I was like,
I
she
love
was
that.
traveling like Toronto. I'm going to Toronto. I'm going back tonight. Like going in a taxi, like all that like corporate vibe. I was like, that's what I want. Like I just
Yeah.
wanted for the vibe. But then, oh my God, I'm going so like crazy with that thing right now. What I'm trying to say is that I envision myself as I would love to be like at home in a little home that I can like not even have like I could clean myself. I could clean myself, have that little business with my partner, like pretty good business, like have my online presence, but not too much that I'm like depending on it like I am right now for like,
Yeah.
my income and stuff. And like have a family and like travel and all these like little corny cheesy stuff that I never wanted before. Like I Phoebe, a year ago, I was like, I'm never gonna have a house. I'm just gonna live in like Airbnbs all around the world. I just want to travel all around the world and just like
That's
travel in gyms
crazy.
and seminars and like just be like a nomad, like whatever. Like just I didn't really want to be, but now, oh my God, I want to have a house. I want to feel somewhere that when I travel, I actually go back home and like this is my laundry and all of these things that my parents were like telling me about it because my parents were like traveling a lot for work in like when I was young. I'm like, wow, I get you guys. Like I can't
Yeah.
wait to go back home. I can't wait to go back like in my bed. Like
That's
when I
so crazy you say that because like that literally was like kind of me like in 2000 and like 19. I say 19 most of the time. Yeah. Like I was like, I want to travel loads and I want to do this, and like I want to be everywhere. Like I want to travel around the world, which don't get me wrong, I still do. But like I was like, I don't care if I don't have a home. Like I
so that was
literally was the
before COVID,
exact
right?
same. That was before COVID. Yeah.
Crazy, right?
I feel like COVID definitely shifted the way I see like home in a way, I think. Because like before, obviously I still want to travel, but I'm always now, I used to travel so much. Like in 2019, I remember I traveled a lot. Like I did 8 shows in the space of like 3 4 months, and like there was all in different countries. Like every single one was in a different like well, I say that different like cities, like states and stuff. Because there was
Yeah.
one time I think I was in the US for a good like 3 weeks, and I traveled obviously loads in the US. But I feel like I want a base, like you said before. I want a base now. I want a home. I want the like. I'm coming back to somewhere, and this is where I live. Do you know what I mean? Whereas before, I was kind of like I wouldn't mind like traveling like everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't try like I traveled like before, but not for like long periods of time. Like I was like I can do that. I can travel everywhere and like not have a home or a base. And now I'm like I don't think I can do that anymore, or I don't want that anymore.
Is it crazy how like it also I don't know if it's like me, like you and I are the same, but it took me a while. Like, me and Aldo have been like 2 years together now.
Mm.
before like buying a pillow, like a decoration like pillow, and be like, you understand what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
like placemats for the table, because I was
Yeah.
like it didn't feel like mine for a
Yeah.
very long time. But at the end of the day, like if you don't make something yours, it's never gonna be yours.
Yeah. I know what you mean. It was the same with when we kind of moved into Dubai. It was like
I
it
felt like you didn't have like your furniture was very like pure,
basic,
like
so
very
basic.
for the very long time.
Yeah. It
Right.
didn't like, and it still kind of isn't like, it still is ours, but like we have like little things now. Like I think this is our third year like with this lease, and like we have like little things now. We have like, like cup, like more like not cups, but like even like decorations like on the wall, or decorations in the middle of the table, little things like that. We have our own like decor and like things now for the
You
home,
have?
versus
Okay.
before it was so basic. Like you said before, it was so basic. There was no like things on the side, or like little like keys, or when you like have a spot for like your keys and stuff, like, or like a little bowl for like your change. Like we didn't have that for ages, and I was like, this feels so weird. Like it doesn't feel like ours. It doesn't feel real, because I don't think it was actually, it was never planned. This was never in our plan. Do you know what I mean? So it was very weird at first, but then like you said a second ago, like it's not going to be yours until you make it yours. So like I think that's a really good piece of advice. Like if you are like, again, you either have a different perspective to like what your plan was supposed to be, for example, to what it actually is now. Like if you feel like, oh, this wasn't in the plan, this isn't what I like decided to do, make it what you decided to do, and make it work, and make it choose what you want to do. Like make the choice yours. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
um, I think it's very, very important for
It
sure.
applies to everything in your life. We're talking about house, but like while you're talking, I'm thinking about everything. Like
Everything,
your career, your relationships, like everything. You
everything.
want to make something yours, like make it yours.
Yeah, and I think that's so important. And I think it's hard to understand for sure, but I think it's a good one to kind of like make sure that you don't get like lost with, I guess, in a way. Because like, I mean, when I was like, I mean, like sometimes, the life that I have now, I sometimes look back and I'm like, what would my life look like if? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you ever do that sometimes? Like, imagine what I did if I didn't do bodybuilding. Like, I have no idea where I would be or what the lifestyle I would have, because the decisions I was making when I was kind of like younger were very different to how I would look at life now. So it's weird to imagine the person I could be without bodybuilding, or would have been without some, do you know what I mean? Without these decisions, if I wasn't with Max, what would my life be like? If I didn't take the bodybuilding route, what would my life be like? I think it can be dangerous to look at life like that, but also it can be eye-opening in a way sometimes.
Yes. Yes and yes. I mean, it because it allows you to be present, but these are such major decisions that I feel that people don't. Here's the thing. I think those major decisions you can resent for a very long time if you don't take them from your heart. And
Yeah.
it's such like being in a relationship with someone is huge. Like
Yeah.
a career decision is huge.
Yeah.
It's never like a one end deal though. Like you should never be scared of like taking the leap on something.
No.
Because there's always a way back.
Yeah.
But that's like, it's like those decisions that kind of like happen to us, they're thrown at us. Like we didn't
Yeah.
really ask for it,
No.
like ever. And then you need to like when you're not really ready for it. So like there's a lot of things that sometimes you just have to leave in the hands of like of God, of life, of whomever you believe in, and just believe that this is there for you
Yeah.
and it's happening for you and not to you, and not see,
Yes.
in a negative way, because it's so easy to victimize ourselves. It's so easy to say, oh, if it wasn't from Max, like when something bad happened, you're like, oh, but if it wasn't from Max, or if it wasn't from bodybuilding, it would never happen to me. But then you would also miss on so many great things that bodybuilding
Yeah.
brought to you, or so
Yeah.
many. And it's unfair to do that to yourself and just be like, that decision doesn't dictate the rest of your life. You do. You do.
Yeah.
And as long as you're going to put that onto a decision or something that's outside of you, you're always going to be a victim of your life. And that really, it's a really sucky way to live.
Yeah.
It's a really sucky way to live, because bodybuilding brought me shitload of challenges, a lot of things I didn't deal with. But when it happens to me now, I'm just like, this is the price to pay to have everything that I have now. The ability to wake up to something that I love every single day, to do what I love every single day. Like, that's a blessing. I
Yeah.
saw my mom busting her ass, giving her freedom away, literally, because the more they pay you in the corporate world, the more they pay you, they don't tell you, but the more they take away from your freedom.
Yeah.
So my mom went from having family vacation where she was able to put her phone away and be present to now she's in the Dominican Republic with her daughter for a week and she needs to take phone calls in the morning
Yeah.
because she needs to for the
Yeah.
company. That gives her a salary though. But like,
Yeah.
it's very, so the price to pay to be an influencer, to be having your business, like, is those all-nighters, it's those um lawsuits, like it's those like things that happen to you that you
Yeah.
just like, what in the f,
Yeah. Yeah.
you just
It's the
be, girl,
price
you
to
just,
pay. It's the price to pay, but it pays off in a way. Like
girl,
obviously you
because peace
you
of mind,
yeah.
people don't, you
Oh,
cannot put a price on peace of mind, you cannot put
yeah.
a price on happess. People don't
Yeah.
understand that. People don't understand that. That's why, like, I live so simple, Phoebe, because like, girl, you cannot put me in there like in anywhere bad into my life and be like, oh, here's a Louis Vuitton, because like that really helps you. That really, that's gonna heal all your, like, your bobo.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I completely I love that you said that. Like it, you can't put a price on like peace of mind, because like I think especially like back again, you take us back to like 18-year-old us or whatnot. Like obviously for me at the time, obviously for you it was like bodybuilding is life. For me it was like I want to get a career, I want to make as much money as I can, and this, that, the other. And like I still very much look at like life and like I want to make as much as I can and this, that, the other. But to make more, I have to do more. And doing more sometimes can take away from my happiness. Do you know what I mean? So like, which is at the moment like worth it. Like you said, you want to live a little bit, you want to live a simple life because it's that's where you feel your happiest. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm the same. Sometimes I'm still kind of learning like money doesn't always buy happiness. Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't. Like the more you get, the more you're going to have to work. So the more time, sometimes, not all the time, most of the time though, you have to take away from happiness sometimes because you're stressing more, you're working more, you're running your own business, you're running your own shit. Do you know what I mean? There's more to kind of like, and I think Adam, obviously, hopefully he doesn't mind me saying this. I think he's actually said this before, but he said the same, where he used to work a lot. Like he used to, travel a lot to different shows. He was working a lot more and doing a lot more back in the day, like 2018, 19. And now he's cut down a lot because he's like, I want to spend more time with my wife. Like back in the day, he had relationships and they didn't work because of work. And he's like, I don't want to make the same mistake now. And I think that was him choosing his happiness. Do you know what I mean? I think it's very important to kind of like know like what your happiness is like at this age, or like don't think that sometimes, when you're younger, like, oh, this is going to make me happy, or like this is going to, do you know what I mean? Because shit changes all the fucking time. Like even now, so much stuff. I was going to ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I have no idea. I say no idea, but do you know what I mean? Like where do you
Yeah, I think the little like idea, but it's like, damn, no.
still, I
And
don't
I think,
know.
I feel like I kind of refuse. Like I hopefully, like, I heavily hopeful that everything's gonna go perfectly. You know, like, I really hope in 5 years, maybe I'm gonna be like freaking happy, like
Yeah.
freaking solid happy, inside out, in a solid, stable,
Place.
relationship growing, and the rest, it's all gonna be freaking
Yeah.
extra sauce, like all extra cherry on top.
Yeah.
Every little thing. I get the sun every, like, Phoebe, honestly, like, it sounds so cheesy. I live in a place where the sun is there every day. If it rains for like 10 minutes. That's all I need.
I mean,
That's
we're the same, literally the same.
that.
Like, Dubai makes it fucking rain, for God's sake. Like, there's not
I
like,
mean,
there's
we
not a
know.
natural. I know, there's not a natural perspective to rain here. So, like, those little things, like, generally, like me and Max were talking about it the other day. Like, I feel happy that the fact that the sun just shines every day. I get to wake up next to the person I love every day. Like, I get to wake up at 9 if I want to. I get to wake up at 11 if I want to. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, these simple things, I think we do take for granted sometimes because it's like I feel like obviously we've definitely worked for where we are now, but I feel like we definitely didn't think we would be, well, we probably did think we would be here at some extent, but we didn't know like 100%. Do you know what I mean?
Or
Like,
how we would feel. Because
yeah.
when do you check yourself like that? When do you like, okay, let me check, like let me be grateful? Is it like every Sunday? Is it like every, do you check yourself like regularly, or like when
Do you
does
know
that
what?
happen? Check yourself.
Do you know what? I do need to do it more because I 100% do it as much as I should. I really should. I think I do. This
I'll
sounds
send
so
you a
weird.
reminder.
I know, please just set an alarm on your phone every Sunday and be like, make sure you do your gratitude or like just be grateful. I think most of the time that I do it is when it sounds really silly, but when me and Max go down to the pool or something and it's just us and we're just swimming around and we're just having like random chats. That's where I'm like, I kind of look up. It sounds so cheesy. I look up at the sky and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I'm like, damn, like this is so cool where we are. Like this is our life. Do you know what I mean? And it's, I think I don't appreciate, sometimes I'm like, oh, like I feel so shit today, or like, oh, I'm going through, we all go through stuff, don't get me wrong, but like, I don't think I appreciate, like, I won't look up outside the window and be like, wow, like, look where I am. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't get I don't do those moments enough. And that was actually one of my New Year's resolutions, was to be more like, like notice how grateful you are in the moment a bit more. Because I definitely didn't. I think like the past few years, because I think it was always like, oh my god, I need to work for the future. I need to work for this. Like in the next year, I want to make this amount, or this year I want to. This is where I want the business to be. This is where I want to be, like placing wise, or where I want to be at the Olympics. Do you know what I mean? You're always looking forwards versus being where you are now. Like being, oh my god, look at where I am now. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like that's always been one of my goals, is to try and make sure I'm just in the moment a bit more, because it's always so like, okay, I need to look forwards, I need to make sure that I'm doing this to get to here in however many years time, or I need to do this now. And like it's good to do that though. I see it from a business mindset and like stability mindset, but sometimes it can be so damaging to your actual like present being, you know? So
Yeah, I think for everyone who's still listening, homework for y'all. If and when you feel overwhelmed and you feel like it's the shittiest day of the entire planet, just find a place where gratitude hits you. Like for you, it's the pool. It hits you. So like whenever you feel overwhelmed, like you should go and refuge yourself at the pool and look at the sky.
yeah.
You know? For me, like when I'm overwhelmed and like I feel like nothing can happen, kind of the same thing. I found like refuge like in the water, or like at close to water, and I sometimes just call my mom and I'm just like, she's just on the phone there, like she's just here to listen. And like I don't want her to say anything. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So like, yeah, like girls, like and guys, I mean, if you're listening, like
Yeah.
for homework, just be more, find more gratitude, but like find a way to catch yourself and like being able to
Bring yourself
speak.
back to ground.
Yeah, yeah, and
Bring you
like find
ground
a place.
yourself.
Find a place.
Yeah, I think grounding yourself is very important. I think when it becomes overwhelming, and don't get me wrong, there's people that are like our age that they don't know what they want to do, like now, for example, or like don't know what they want to do like moving forwards and stuff, and that's
Yeah.
also okay, because I feel like sometimes it's very much like when I was younger, I was like, oh my god, I don't want to get to like 25 and don't know what I wanted to do. When I actually was 25, I kind of didn't know. Like I did a little bit of posing, a little bit of online coaching, but there was no set plan. There was not like, okay, yeah, I'm self-employed and I'm doing like side jobs. Like I was still at 25, I think. When 25, what year was that? Yeah, I think I was coming out of my side job. So like, or where I used to work at the reception, I was, what was it, receptionist, and at a gym. I was still doing that. So I was like, where do I see my future? Like, is it bodybuilding, or do I like, can I see that being stable? And do you know what? Is that going to be a career for me? And I was, at 20, when I was 18, I thought 25, I'd be married, kids, career, all that. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I
Yeah.
feel like knowing, you don't need to know it all now.
No, and especially like I think the, not only don't you need to know now, but like don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Because all the worry that you've done up until COVID hit, that goes out the window.
Yeah.
Because right now, like it's really like a reset for everybody. Like now you really choose to decide whatever you want.
Yeah.
And
I
you
feel
need to like,
like,
and Dubai was like obviously the best decision at the time for you to
yeah.
like, for your business and where you were at in your life. And like it probably allowed you and forced everybody across the planet to be like extremely present. Like, hey, all you have is now. Like
Yeah.
literally, all you have is your house. So like make sure that your house is a place that you actually love being.
Yeah.
Like cultivate something in your house. Like your house shouldn't be a place where you just like sleep and
Yeah.
wake up. Like it should be a nurturing place where you feel like safe and all these like these good things. And just I think that really helped. And like Dubai was for you like the best kind of like, hey, hustle grind. Let's just
Yeah. And this is where I want to be now, you know, like this is where I didn't plan it, but this is where I am now. And I'm appreciating kind of like every step.
and
So
you
I
were
think
able
it's,
to be able to afford it, you know, like
yeah.
moving like there's so many people that can't even do that right now.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be like so drastic, like to whomever is listening right now, it doesn't have to be drastic at all.
No.
It's just like for you to check yourself, just check yourself. Are you really like here right now at this right second while you're watching that podcast, are you really where you want to be?
Yeah.
That's
Oh, that's gonna get everyone being like, "Am I where I want to be?" I don't know. Like, just obviously, you don't need to put like so. Obviously, we're not saying you need to put so much pressure on yourself to do this at the other, but it also is so
no,
valid.
but honestly, baby, it's not even like when I say that, I don't want anyone to listen to the podcast and like, oh my God, like I'm this age and I should have that much money. No, it's
Yeah,
like, are you where you want to be in within yourself? Like
yeah,
you work on your values. Are you like doing something that you enjoy every single day? Are you filling your own cup? That's basically all it is. I don't care about your money, your house, your salary, babe. It's from within. Are you where you want to be? And I
mm,
love that because I can only imagine like the little girls right now, like they're on their treadmill and just like, oh shoot, she got me thinking now. But it's so important to think.
yeah,
Like we don't think anymore. We just go through the motions. Babe, my entire life, your entire life was like 6 weeks out, 4 weeks out, 16 weeks out. I'm a year out. Now you see 24 weeks out. I'm like,
yeah.
girl,
I was gonna say
24.
we're 20. We're both 25 weeks out from the Olympia right now. Just a reminder, just to let you know. We're like, please don't think about that. We don't need to think about that now. But just a heads up, we're 25 weeks out.
But I love you. You're here for me, for checking me. But no, I mean,
Oh,
damn, like life goes by quick when you think
yeah,
like that. 24 weeks out, 25 weeks out. Yeah, I'm like, how many weeks out are we from having grandkids?
I know.
Are you gonna think like that your entire life? No, you
No.
need to be present. You're
Yeah.
like you're right now. You are right now, and that's all you are. So like make sure that you are where you want to be right now, wherever
Yeah.
it's laying on the couch, eating biscuit. I don't care. Are you where you want to have right now because you have the best time of your life eating those biscuits? Yes, girl. Like I preach more someone that does what they want to do every single day. Like I admire that to like girl, crazy.
Yeah.
I told you
I
that
admire that so much more.
when you made the decision for the Arnold, God, like that was so powerful for me. Like it gave me energy. It inspired me to like be more courageous in things that I didn't want to face. Like it's so easy to run away. It's so easy to dissociate, you know. But yeah, face your thing, face your shit. You control your own destiny. You're master. What is it the quote? Like you're master of your own fate, whatever.
Oh yeah, I know which one you're.
Captain of the ship or whatever
Yeah,
that
be the
quote
captain of your own ship or something like that. I like that quote.
is.
That's a cool quote. Yeah.
It's
But
a
I mean,
cool.
that's a good place to kind of leave it on. I'm really like, I want, like, we've always said this with like this podcast is obviously for us, but it's to get you guys thinking as well. Like, we don't ever want it to just be just, you know, random stuff. We
One-sided.
want you, yeah, we want you to literally just think about like what you're either going through or give you perspective on what we've had for our experiences and stuff like that. That was a good one. That was an hour as well. So I mean,
Getting better.
we're getting better at like just hitting. First one was an hour and a half. Second was like an hour and 20. Now like this one's about an hour, so it's not too bad. All right. So but thank you guys for listening. Obviously, please make sure you like, subscribe, follow wherever you're listening on. Make sure you rate the show as well, because I think you can rate it on either Spotify or what's it called, iTunes, wherever you're at. So rate it if you're on podcast listening. And we appreciate all of you. Like, I still am shocked at the amount of downloads we've had on that first episode. Like, so, and
Like,
it's cool because we're thinking about like the plans of like where to take this podcast and what we can do with it. And it's just exciting to like have a new venture to work on together.
Phoebe,
What?
we're at 4.7 views
What on YouTube? Oh my God. We
in
are.
6 days. In 6 days.
In 6
Almost a
days.
thousand subscribers.
Damn. Oh yeah, because you said we're on right now. We're on 948 subscribers, and you were like, I want like 1,000
Almost a thousand.
by the time the next episode. So we're gonna be going on our Instagrams and be like, guys, let's go. Almost 1,000, almost 1,000. So it's
We honestly
crazy.
have the best like community out there. Like
I love
my
it.
like yeah.
I
We're
love
so
it.
we're so lucky.
It's
We love you guys so much, honestly. Like that's what we spoke about like 30 minutes before that podcast, just talking about you guys, literally.
yeah.
Like how
It,
much we
it,
like appreciate and freaking love you. And damn, it's so crazy that we're just Lauralie and Phoebe, and look at us.
I
Look at us.
know. Woo, look at us.
Rainbow
We're just
podcast.
chatting.
Now.
We're just chatting all of our stuff, and then like people are like, I want to listen to what you say, and we're like, really? But it's so cool to kind of see it all take off, and I'm excited for it. So, but like we said, love you guys so much. Please, like we said, make sure you like, subscribe, comment anything you want to kind of see in the future, and all that type of thing. And we will see you in the next episode.